I saw a video of a guy, very affluent guy, multimillionaire, successful business, and someone asked him, so is your wife replaceable or is your business replaceable? Basically, is your money replaceable or is your wife replaceable? And he said, my wife is replaceable. I'm like, oh, that's exactly the kind of guy that I used to attract in, because people are replaceable, which of course people aren't replaceable. That's the wound.
Welcome to OTR, Over the Rainbow, Achieving Mental Health for Real. This podcast offers hope to many people who needlessly suffer from mental health issues. Your host, Bob Adelman, brings you information on how you can recover from any mental health issue and achieve a happier life. If you want to know more, please check out his trailer. Bob's notes on today's show follows.
Some stories don't begin with clarity. They begin with fracture, with a childhood that teaches you to survive before you ever learn how to feel. And some people spend their whole lives running from that first wound. Kerry didn't. She walked straight into it. Today's conversation is with a woman who has lived several lifetimes inside one. A mother. A shaman. A newly published author. Someone who has faced trauma, synchronicity, enlightenment, and the kind of darkness that forces you to choose whether you're going to disappear or transform. Kerry's journey takes us from Southern California to Tibet, from corporate compliance to psychic awakening, from heartbreak to self-belief, and into the strange, sacred territory where emotional wounds become wisdom. This is not a polished story. It's a human one. And if you've ever carried pain you didn't know how to name, or felt the universe trying to get your attention, you'll hear something in her voice that feels like recognition.
Now, here's Bob with today's show.
Hello, welcome to OTR. We have Kerry Blazer today. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Would you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a mother of 3 grown children, a boy and 2 girls. I am a shaman. I help people turn self-hate to self-love. And I'm a recently published author of My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain.
Okay, that's great. The one question I always ask is, how was your childhood? Now, from what I read, it wasn't all that good.
It was traumatic, but there's a reason for that. I was born in Arizona, and when I was 9 months old, my dad got hired to work in Europe for about 4 years in France and Switzerland. He was an engineer, and so we moved there. And then when I was 5, we moved to Southern California, about 15 minutes from what is now the Bachelor Mansion from ABC's show The Bachelor, just so you're kind of aware of the level of affluence that I was around.
Yeah.
And that was 1975 when we moved to Southern California by the beach. And I spent my first year in one house, and then my parents got a divorce right before I turned 6. And to give a little history on my parents, my mom was an alcoholic. She has since passed, and a smoker. My dad was a workaholic and may have had multiple women. He wasn't home that much. And their childhoods were traumatic. My dad's parents got a divorce in the 50s and then got remarried when my grandma got pregnant with another man's child. My grandma, so I have three uncles and my dad, 4 boys in that family. My youngest uncle, when he was a teenager, my grandma would still put on his shoes and bring him everything that he needed in his recliner.
Oh boy.
To show you how codependent she was and how challenged that family was. My mom is 4 years older than my dad, and they got married in the 60s, which is really rare. My mom was engaged 4 times. So very anxious attachment style. And, she came from very traumatic childhood as well. So by the time they had my brother and me, they didn't know how to engage in a healthy relationship. And my mom got a divorce. And then they started arguing about money and arguing about everything like immediately. So my dad would argue in front of me before I was 10 years old about paying child support. So I internalized that as I'm not worthy of being
Mm-hmm.
provided for by a man, which
Mm-hmm.
fed right into the narrative, the feminist narrative. I don't need a man, and I can provide for myself. And so not only I saw it at home, but then I had support in society, right? So I got a job at 12 years old. I was living in an apartment, even though my dad was making six figures in the
What
80s.
kind of job do you get at 12?
My mom worked for an insurance company, and I wrote advertising cards. I just wrote the
Oh,
addresses on the cards, so I'd get paid 7 cents per card. And then when I was 14, um, my mom helped me get a job at Hot Dog on a Stick because her best friend's daughter was the manager there. So I was 14, even though I'm in a very affluent town, I started working.
just to get out of the
Okay.
house, probably, right?
What I mean, this is the thing, it's like, yeah, work hard, like,
Oh, okay.
even though like my dad had 50% custody, he only had us at his house every other weekend, but at the nights he would never spend the night there. He'd spend it at the woman who's now my stepmom's house. So he'd leave us alone
Gotcha.
at like 11, 12 years old, my brother and I,
Wow.
and go. Okay, so and then come home and lie to me that he was sleeping. He'd make me sleep in his bed. He had a two-bedroom condo, and
Yeah.
so it's kind of like the abandonment wound. Like there's an
Wow.
abandonment wound. There's a I'm replaceable wound. Like so many wounds that like played out in my life. So, but those wounds, set me up to like get wisdom. So, what I had to learn and what I've learned through healing my trauma is that our souls plan our lives based on our wounds for self-improvement opportunities. So, I at a very young age developed a wound around men that I'm replaceable. But what does that set me up for? To attract in men who have multiple women. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I
It's
did as
it
as an adult.
it's very funny with the people I'm interviewing is it's so predictable from their childhood what's going
Yeah.
to happen next because you just always try to recreate that situation so maybe you'll get it right this time. And
Yeah.
and that's kind of what happens to people. I know when I grew up, my house was fine, but I wasn't. I was autistic, basically. I mean, I was ADHD, definitely. Autistic, maybe. But I
Mm-hmm.
was out there. I was way out there, and I'm still out there. And I still have relationship problems. So I guess that's my next question.
Mm.
Relationships. Men that were
Yeah.
cheating on you. They would cheat on
Yeah.
you.
I
Yeah.
mean, but my original hero, I mean, when I knew him in as a child, he was Mormon. So this is what happened with him. So when I was 14 and he was 16 at high school, he was staring at me all the time, but I was afraid of him. He's like ASB president, super good looking, varsity letterman, really smart, like guy that any guy, in an affluent town, dressed really nice, like came from an affluent family, seemed like a lot of girls would want him, right?
Right. Right.
So, but he wouldn't stop staring at me. Now he hasn't talked to me. He hasn't returned my call, so I don't know if I was in kindergarten and he was in second grade, the same elementary school. But based upon where his house was, I think we were there. And I think something happened there because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
always rejected myself since I can always remember. And I've always had a hard time making friends, like always, always, always. And so I think that something happened there, but I don't have confirmation yet.
So,
But this is what I do remember in high school is the most popular senior guy tried to introduce me to him because I wouldn't let him talk to me. And I call him Jared in the book. And so they come up and the popular senior says, well, I want to introduce you to Jared. He's really nice. And I'm like, are you punking me? Like, where's the camera? Like inside of me, I knew that guy wasn't really nice. And I just put up a wall. I wouldn't talk to him. Well, a week later, he's having a picnic with a Mormon girl at lunch. Like a woman brings a picnic, that's claiming a man. It's like,
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
so into me that the most popular senior at like a high school with 2,000 kids needs to get involved, and then a week later you're with someone else. Like, how are you really that into me? Okay, but that's his wound, right? um so so it's like, you're so into me, but this is like all the emotional pain, right? But
Yeah.
you're moving from girl to girl to girl. You're that
Mhm.
emotional. But
Yeah.
that's him and his feminine, because femininity is the emotion, and I was the rock. I was solid, no to you 100%. So after I saw that, then I went and got a job.
Right.
But that is like me and my masculine protecting myself. Him and
Mhm.
his feminine can't stay in one place, and he would like jump on people, and he
Really?
was kind of a spaz. And but this is where I understand is, like, about a month ago I saw a video of a guy, very affluent guy, multimillionaire, successful business, and someone asked him, so is your wife replaceable, or is your business replaceable? Basically, is your money replaceable, or is your wife replaceable? And he said, my wife is replaceable. I'm like, oh,
Nice.
that's exactly the kind of guy
Nice
that
guy.
I
Yeah.
used to attract in,
Right.
because people are replaceable, which of course people aren't replaceable. That's the wound.
No, I have to defend men here. No, I mean, you're right. There's a lot of, I would call them not so nice people,
Well, they're
in the
wounded
world.
people.
They're
They're
wounded
wounded.
people, and
Yeah.
they get attracted to other wounded people. That's the way it
Yes.
works. If you're
Yeah.
wounded, you will attract wounded people.
Yeah.
And whether it's a guy or a girl, because I've been very hurt by my ex-wife. She divorced me and left town to South Carolina, and the kids were like all confused. My daughter was 3 years old, and
Yeah.
my daughter doesn't even talk to me now, and my kids barely
Yeah.
talk to me. So,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I always wanted a family. I always wanted
Yeah.
a family, and my family of origin was not a real family. They
Yeah.
basically, my brother's a year older. He abused me constantly from the age of 1. I was
Yeah.
abused. So I feel your pain. I know it's really bad stuff. And I
Yeah.
guess the next question is, what happened next? What enabled you to leave that pain somehow and start a new type of life? You said you're a shaman. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah. So I've been
Could you
psychic
go
my
into,
whole
yeah?
life.
Okay.
So, that all happened in high school. And then I went out and got an undergraduate and graduate degree in East Asian religious studies. I speak Chinese. I met
Oh,
my ex-husband, who's Israeli, in Tibet, and so I spent some time in Israel. Then, I
wow.
got married, had 3 kids, and 10 years later I got divorced.
Yes.
Um, so I'm 55 now. I turned 55 about a couple weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And on my 45th birthday, my mom passed away. And that was her. And then that's the day my intuition told me I need to accept my psychic gifts and heal from my childhood trauma, because on that day, I became the matriarch of the family. Now the whole family's in my heart. Now it's
Yes.
time to do something different. Now, granted, my mom's soul and my soul, we planned all of that so that she could show me how special I am to her. We have my birthday together and we have her death day together,
Okay.
which is special.
Yeah.
Is
Back
is
up a
like,
little. Yeah, so you're saying that we are souls that choose our lives? Is that your philosophy, or is that something specific that it's called, or because I've heard of
okay,
that? Is
yeah,
it is
okay. So what my book shows, the research that I did in my book,
okay?
is that we're all souls having a human experience, and physicists have proven that it's true, and here's why. So physicists can have now determined, because they can measure energy, that every human has a specific energy body specific to them. And all of those energy bodies are communicating through the heart.
So the electromagnet, so we have a soul, and our soul connects to our nervous system and expresses it through our nervous system, through our heart, because our heart has a far more complex nervous system than our brain, and our heart sends far more signals to our brain than the other way around. So the electromagnetic field around our heart is 5,000 times stronger than our brain. So our souls that are energy bodies, and they can measure all of our emotions. Like shame is at 20 hertz. They measure the frequency, right? In physics. So shame is 20 hertz. Anger is about 70 hertz. Love is about 200 hertz. Compassion is about 400 hertz. And enlightenment, which is an emotion that I was never taught in graduate school or undergraduate in religious studies, is between 700 to 1,000 hertz. So we vibrate those emotions, and how our souls express ourselves is through our emotions. So the different vibrations are our souls expressing what's going on, how we feel about ourselves. And the higher vibrating the energy, the more transformative it is. So let me show you a physics experiment. Okay, so there's two balls, identical balls, on two tracks that are the same distance. They're equidistant. One is slightly downhill, and one has hills and valleys. So the distance traveled on that track is technically longer. Which ball reaches the finish line first?
Up and downhill one. I'm cheating. I saw your video.
Okay. Oh, you saw. Okay. Yeah. So why? Because the momentum and the speed and the inertia gained from the hills and valleys is what propels us to the next mountaintop. So we need those deeper, the shame, the guilt, and the fear. We need those emotions. We need to learn how to dive into those emotions, find self-belief, self-confidence, in order to, project us to the next mountaintop. Like if you want to get to the top of Mount Everest, is kind of like the physical representation of enlightenment, right? Then the amount of the valley of darkness you have to be able to navigate to find the self-belief, get the lung capacity, get the physical strength and everything that you need to be in order so you have a chance at getting the top, which has a 25% death rate. Like, do you see the equivalent? So the more that you can hold on and process emotional pain, then that takes you closer and closer to enlightenment. So our souls plan our lives based upon our wounds.
Okay.
And then our wounds is the valley of darkness, and those valleys of darkness are what propel us to the next mountaintop. So one wound that I took on, that I had in my soul, is that I'm replaceable. Well, that's a lie. That's in my subconscious. It's not true. But my soul has been planning my life based on that wound since I was young. And I only saw that wound when I came in contact with my fifth hero. And that was November of 2023. So
what are these heroes? How does that work?
Oh, they're in my book. They're the man that I attracted into my life to show me my wounds so that I could heal. And, two of them were Justin Waller and his best friend, Andrew Tate.
Okay. I know them, yes. They're not exactly nice people, it seems. I mean, I don't judge anyone, but I think other people do. It
depends how you define nice. Like, they help men with their mental health. They help men make money. Justin Waller has a $1 million steel company, but they have a wound. And so then they have multiple women because of their wound.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't think anybody's bad, and I don't think anybody's good. I think there's a range of evil and goodness in everyone.
Yeah.
But I do want to maybe challenge you. I don't know if it's a challenge.
Yeah.
What do you say to a person like myself who is I'm spiritual yet scientific, and who's reaching an age where he has to think about death? So what do you say to a person that doesn't believe what you're saying and just believes that when you die, it's over, everything? What do you say to that person?
Well, I say, laws of physics. We have physicists that proven that we all have energy bodies. That's what I go to. I would encourage you to explore that. I have videos in my book
Okay.
where like the top scientists, like neuroscientists, Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Okay.
Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is like, he's the one that almost created epigenetics to show that we store emotional pain from our
So
ancestors in our um, DNA. And so that's one way it cuts it to the soul. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of stories of 2, 3, and 4-year-olds describing historical events they've never even studied. So there's no way they could know it unless it were somehow brought with them into this life. So there's a lot of, things for you to explore.
I'm sorry. The one question I struggle with,
Yeah.
when you look at birth defects,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on there? I mean, you could have a lot of things go on that the baby lives 5 minutes, 2 months, a year.
Yeah.
They're deformed and they have to do something. And so I struggle with that. I don't see an
Yes.
explanation with
That
that.
so all of our soul okay, so all of our souls are connected through our hearts. So we're all in this together, planning our lives together to, so that we can all spend more time in the higher vibrating energies, love, compassion, peace, love, and joy. But we have to learn how to go into the negative. Now, souls will agree to have a short existence so that their soul can go through that process and learn wounds, because our souls take on our subconscious. Like my oldest daughter, when she was 5 weeks old, I almost died. And she's 24 now. And because I almost died, I was on a ventilator for 2 weeks. I developed bacterial pneumonia, and I was just gone from her life. Well, when I watch a psychologist talk about what happens to children who have that experience, well, if you're gone as a mother, gone from an infant, the only thing logical to the infant is mom's dead. So in her subconscious, she had a wound that mom is dead. And we've spent the past 24 years working on that wound. And we're finally almost out of it.
Okay.
But
I
that's,
mean,
but so,
I'm not
hang on,
here.
hang on a second. So
Go ahead.
our
Sorry.
souls, even though they plan a short life, both the soul that lived a short life learns lessons and takes on wounds for their greater good. And then they give other people opportunities to process their wounds and for the greater good. Like there's a saying in spirituality, even the box of darkness, the emotional pain he left me with was a gift. Why is it a gift? Well, when we take on those wounds, we expand our emotional range when we heal those wounds. So wounds are super important. We
What?
plan wounds, especially with our family, because
Right.
they go the deepest and they have the best opportunity to help us expand our emotional range and become healthier, happier people.
Okay. What would you say to a person that has no empathy at all? I mean, at all. A hitman, people that admit they don't have empathy. What would you
Well,
say that is?
that's the thing. From your perspective, they don't have empathy, but I say they're acting from a wound. Like,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
in our souls plan our lives based on our wounds to give us opportunities to grow and get to that next mountaintop. Like I experienced enlightenment over 10 times last year. Most people will not experience enlightenment in this lifetime.
Could
And
you
that's okay,
could you
because their
describe?
soul is gaining, hang on a second, their soul is
Okay.
gaining the wisdom and the knowledge to do it in another lifetime.
I got you.
Yeah.
Now, could you describe enlightenment? What is it? How does it work? I mean,
Mm. Well,
what do you feel? You said it's a feeling, but what do you feel exactly? Could you
it's an
describe it?
emotion. So the soul expresses itself through emotion. The higher vibrating the energy or the emotion, the more transformative it is for the individual. So when I experienced enlightenment, I received profound wisdom, and then I faced catastrophic fears. Now, receiving the wisdom is like 1% of the time. That's like takes about 1% of the time that I spend. Releasing the fears is what takes a lot of time. So the first time it happened, I sat in my recliner on a Tuesday, and I could feel my energy getting higher and higher vibrating. And I could barely sleep and eat and drink for about 3 days. Day 2 in the morning, I heard an alarm in my head go off, like enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment. And I'm like, vibrating super high, could barely do anything. And it was right after that that I received the profound wisdom and I started facing catastrophic fears. But
Wow.
facing those fears takes a long time. So, it could take weeks and weeks for me to fully process everything through. It's just showing me myself. Like, this is in your subconscious. You're spending energy on these things that aren't happening. Fix it, Kerry, is basically what it's showing me.
Okay, so then I think you're saying is I should shut up, pretty much. I mean, is it not that, in other words, if I tell someone that this will work and make them feel better, they shouldn't feel better. They should suffer, you're saying.
What do you, I need a more specific example. I mean, I'm not sounds like suffer, bitch. No, I mean,
No, let's say, okay, specifically, last week I had on the show somebody that talks about dopamine. And what he said was that you do something, whatever it is, a cold shower, something to lower your dopamine, and then it rises, and you feel better. Now, my concern, and I'm open to I'm a very open person. I'm not trying. I'm playing devil's advocate, but I don't not believe you. Should you just go there and say, forget doing the dopamine thing? You have to suffer to get to enlightenment. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, what I have found is that, we are souls having a human experience so we can see ourselves. So when we decide, and so in order to see ourselves, we need the opposite. Now, when we don't have a human body, all we have are the positive emotions. We don't have the negative emotions. We only have those negative emotions because we need a mirror. We need our opposite. We only know what tall is because we know what short is. You know what happy is because you know what sad is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right. No, I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need all of those are necessary. Now, the goal of life. So when I do that 2-ball experiment, I would say more than half of people pick the slightly downhill path. But when people want to say, like, just, there shouldn't be pain or life shouldn't be suffering or we all deserve happiness, they're missing the point of how reality is created completely, because we need the opposites. So we need the pain and we need to be able to go into the pain to get the momentum, inertia, propulsion to go to the next mountaintop. But most people don't know this. There's so much.
What about the people that don't make it? You committed or tried to commit suicide. What about people that don't make it? They just come back again.
Then they come back. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I saw. So there's a lot of like near-death experience videos out there.
Yeah,
so
I have a
one
show
that really helped me. It was like, it's like each person is like a TV, and each lifetime is like a different channel on the TV, all happening at once. Like the way we perceive time, because we already know that time moves at different speeds at different elevations.
Right.
And that's just, elevation on Earth is, doesn't even calculate.
The satellites adjust in GPS, they adjust for the time difference.
Yeah.
It's definitely true.
So
Einstein.
You know what I'm saying? So there's so much more that we haven't even experienced yet.
Oh, yeah.
We're still like toddlers throwing sand in the sandbox. We don't even understand that our emotions are about ourselves. So when I call someone selfish, when I resonate with selfishness, which I can go over the physics on that in a second, that is my soul communicating to me that I have selfishness inside my soul.
Right. Right.
And so, and I'm not saying the other person's probably selfish too, but why does that happen? Because my soul is resonating in a certain frequency. And my soul gets moved when I interact with another soul resonating at the same frequency. Like if you have two metal prongs, and one's tuned to 400 hertz and one's tuned to 500 hertz. When you hit the 500 hertz, the 400 hertz doesn't move because they don't resonate. But when you have two prongs that are both 400 hertz, like two selfish people, when one moves, the other one feels it, so the other one can see, oh, wait, I'm selfish too.
It does seem like that. I mean, from my experience, people attract people that will do the same thing that happened to them before. So that is kind of spooky in a way, or I don't know what you would call it, but Um, I know you said there's evidence. Is that in your book? The actual evidence that what you're talking about, the scientific proof, is that in the book as well?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Okay, sorry. Someone's like trying.
I didn't have time to read the book. I'm sorry. I
That
just
no, don't even
yeah
worry. Like I'm here.
yeah
We can always talk again. Like it's cool.
yeah
Like I'm at home all
sure
the time.
sure.
So yeah, like yeah, you're not late. And but yeah, so it's all in the book. Like I quote Nikola Tesla, I quote Winston Churchill. Like this two ball experiment, that wisdom is in multiple places. Like that's what I look for, is the wisdom in multiple places, which that one is. And then I have Dr. Joe Dispenza, I have Dr. Gabor
do you
Mate,
do you have
and
a name for this philosophy? Is there a name that we can call
I
it?
call it
Or
soul logic, but it's new. But here's the thing. Like it's new and it's not new. A lot of this wisdom is out there, but I've put it all together in one place. And
okay.
other people have taught that enlightenment is an emotion, but that knowledge isn't out there. Like when people hear enlightenment, they think otherworldly. That's not me. Where what
Mhm.
people need to understand that enlightenment is part of every person's normal emotional range. We normalize
Mhm.
enlightenment. We help people experience enlightenment more. They process more trauma more quickly, and we get rid of our problems, and we can start downloading more universal knowledge and wisdom, and we can all do better. And this is the thing, we haven't accepted ourselves. That's the problem. If we accept, then it's a whole different story.
So what you're really saying is that maybe I should just butt out of it in a sense, like don't even try to help people that suffer like I did? Or are you saying that I'm part of the plan and whatever I say, they'll help them or something? Uh,
Just keep following your heart. It knows the way. It knows your soul's plan.
right,
Like,
right.
and all I do is follow my heart and follow my
Yeah.
soul's plan and look at the people I attracted into my life.
And so what's the end game? I mean, I know
You want a destination. That's
time
ego.
is a crazy thing. Time, it all happens at once or something, but what is the end game as far as what we're going to end up as? I mean, are we going to evolve into total spirits and not even have a body, or
I
what?
don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
people talk about that we'll be able to transcend the body, but we already are, we're a soul having a human experience, which means we've already transcended the body. This is just one way
yeah,
like, what are we
yeah,
capable of as souls?
yeah.
So, and every day we learn. Like it's a whole experiment. We're all learning, but
Right.
our souls, energy doesn't die,
Gotcha.
right? So
Yeah.
if you think, okay, each person has an energy body, and we know based on laws of physics that energy only transforms, it doesn't die. That might get you closer to, accepting, if you so choose, that you have a soul that won't die when you cross over. Like,
What I think of is because I was a
yeah,
big Star Trek fan growing up,
okay,
and there's one episode about the Organians
mm-hmm.
who are they don't need a body; they're just pure beings. So is that kind of the goal, you think? I mean, there's other things about people ascending. You see it on Stargate, they ascend into another level. Do you think that has any merit as far as it actually coming true?
Do you want me
Because
to
I
tell you
know
what the goal is?
the Organians were people that even a little bit of violence disgusted them. So,
Oh,
I,
violence.
yeah, I feel that um, violence in this world is, kind of at a new high. And I feel that nobody is really trying to change that. In other words,
Mm,
because we have so many mental issues, everybody,
mm.
um, we, we're missing maybe the end game, which is, uh, have a good life and we don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, that's my philosophy. I don't believe in I guess anything except things that I could see in front of me. You know, I'm a skeptic.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit negative, but
But here's the thing.
but go ahead.
You believe in things you can't see all the time. You believe in love, right?
Yeah.
You feel it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you just feel and that you believe, but then that's your cover story. Like that's your cognitive dissonance. That on one hand you're saying, I only believe what I can see, but on the other hand, every day you're believing things that you don't see. So when you said that you didn't have a traumatic childhood, I'm like, no, of course you did.
I
And
did.
so that was like the cover for the traumatic childhood. Now, if your brother treated you poorly, that's because he learned that from your parents. He doesn't just come out of the womb treating people poorly.
It was 1970 when I started all this OCD crap. When I was a child, I didn't have most of it. I was worried. I worried a lot. I didn't have OCD. I didn't know I had ADHD, but I did. And I had dyslexia and depression, anxiety problems.
Yeah.
And to this day, I have anxiety problems because what happens to me is there's always a little voice in my head telling me you can't do what you know you can do. In other words, you can't do it anymore. In other words, you're finished. You're no good. You're weak. You're a baby. You're a fake. You're a phony.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I hear on my bad day.
Yeah.
Now, do I have bad days all the time? No. But when I have a bad day, it's very bad.
Yeah.
And, I've listened to, well, you got to feel your feelings. That's good. But my fear is that I will get to the place where I was when I had my original episode attack, which made me dysfunctional. Now, I don't know I think I saw somewhere that you spent some time in a mental hospital, which is a horrible name, actually, a hospital for mental health.
Yeah.
But, so I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that's probably good. But I just don't know how to attack these demons, how to beat them. I know you're supposed to let them in your life and it goes through you and all that. But I think a lot of what I have is chemical. I mean, when I take medicines, it helps.
Well, it's chemical because you haven't healed yet. Your soul and the constitution of your soul is what wires your brain, because your soul is where the anxiety and the depression come from, those wounds. So as long as you have those wounds from your childhood, you're going to have these thoughts that come from your subconscious. So what you need to do is learn to transform your wounds into wisdom. And that's what my book will teach you how to do. That's my whole book. It shows, how my whole process, how I, came upon the wisdom of appreciate, learn, forgive, love, hierarchy, how to self-reflect, why gratitude is important, like all of that. My book goes into.
Tell us the name of your book again and where you can get it.
Oh, it's My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain. And you can get it on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. There's a lot of places you can get it. Yeah.
Great. Does it work for men as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's one process. Like, pain is pain. So right now, there's a reason. Like, it's darkest before the dawn, and we need it to be super dark right now with mental illness, so people be willing to do the work. Like, I had to attempt suicide, almost die before I dove hard into my healing work, but I needed that to see myself. Like, right now, we have, mental illness is off the freaking charts.
What about the people that refuse to do that stuff? And they
What do you mean choose?
Well, they refuse to do any work.
Then let them. That's what their soul's purpose.
In other words, they're perfect. I know a lot of people that are perfect, and they don't think they need to do anything mentally at all.
Well, this is the thing. They don't understand why they're here. Why would you sit here and be like, well, I'm 40 years old and perfect? Like, because you know everything? Like,
but
you're going to sit here on Earth and say at 40, you know it? Like, that's arrogant and inability to say that they're wrong. I mean, that screams mental illness left, right, and center.
I know. I realize that. Yeah. But there are people that don't want to hear what I have to say. In other words, there's no such thing as mental. You're either a nut case or you're normal. Those are the people that we run into the stigma against. If I say, hello, I have a mental problem, mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
that they immediately shut off and say, this guy's crazy.
Then let
People
them.
do that. People
Let
do
them.
that.
Let them.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, the universe is a mirror. We are the only person we're ever truly interacting with is ourselves. And we have mirror neurons in our brains to facilitate this process. We learn by mirroring other people. That's how we learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if I want to ride a bike, I'm going to watch someone who rides a bike and try to mimic that. There's the mirroring. So we're set up for this to happen.
We don't have a mechanism to improve our mental health.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You know,
that's what my
2020
book's
came
for.
through, and there are lots of books. But in 2020, everybody sat down and said, okay, well, what am I going to do now? I'm going to go crazy because I don't have things to do. And then when 2020 went away, everybody went back to the little rat cage where they go round and round and round and round and round
Yeah.
and go nowhere. And all they want is money and power. I don't advocate that. I advocate that people need certain things. When you have ADHD, you need some kind of accommodations. But more than that, I don't know where I stand on suffering. I mean, I think suffering is good in some areas, but the way I suffered, I don't feel there was any good in that.
Well,
So,
right. I mean, but here's the thing. I didn't think so either until I realized the connection between enlightenment and the negative emotions. Like we come here to see ourselves, so we need the opposite. I mean,
yeah,
for
I
me, there's nothing
understand.
more clear than that. Like you can't experience yourself unless you have a mirror, unless you have your opposite. So you can't know what love is unless you know what hate is. So the
Well, I
negative
certainly got my
emotions are
opposite.
necessary so we understand ourselves, so we can see ourselves and we know where we need to improve. Like I have the saying, pain is beautiful because it reveals what longs to be healed. I had 35 years of debilitating lower back pain before I understood that piece of wisdom, because the pain is an initiation process. Like if you want to get to the top of Mount Everest, there's a serious initiation process that you have to go through to earn that privilege. So if you want the privilege of experiencing enlightenment, you have to do the work to get there, which is going through your negative emotions. Like people say, learn to surf the waves of life. You don't learn to surf on a 70-foot wave. You learn to surf on the small wave. So as a child, if your parents know how to surf the waves of life, they teach you. But our parents did not. And so if you go a little wave, a little bit down into
Oh,
your
they
negative
had no
emotions,
clue.
you come out and then you slowly get bigger and bigger. But there's so many people like you and I these days, because now is the time for it. Like you're not going to get people to change unless it's really uncomfortable. And
Unless it's
right now,
popular as
it's
well.
really uncomfortable.
But
So,
it has to be out there. Oprah or somebody big has to say,
well, right. I
here's
mean,
what we do
I
now.
hailed Andrew Tate. I mean, I'm working on a film with a major studio that's
Yeah,
big
I was
enough
going
to
to ask you
handle
about
Andrew
that.
Tate. I'm working on it. We're not there yet.
Great. Terrific. Can I mean it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no,
I love drama. I love things like that. I love drama. I
but
love
this is the
TV.
thing, like,
Yeah.
And this is the way it's taken me time where I had to be prepared to be like, so two things that Andrew's soul showed me. He showed me a lot of things, but here's two of them. So from the fifth hero, he's a fire captain, his soul taught me that a man will open his heart to a woman when her love is stronger than his brute. I'm like, oh, well, let me apply that to me and Andrew, who's, 4-time UFC world champion. I'm like, okay, so my capacity for love and compassion as a healer is greater than Andrew's capacity for brute strength as a fighter. I'm like, and I'm, that was like halfway through my healing journey. It's not like, the healer I was then is not the healer I am now. Like I'm way more advanced. I'm like, okay, but I had to accept that in myself and deal with all the emotional wounds that was blocking me from fully accepting that into myself. His soul also told me that my voice is louder than his, and we know how loud he is. He's worldwide, right? Everyone on earth knows who Andrew Tate is. So I'm like,
I'll be
okay.
honest. I didn't know. I don't watch the news. I don't watch anything network related. where they're going to give you kind of propaganda. So I'll be very honest and say I had to look them up. I had to find out about. I heard the name before, but because of my ADHD and things like that, it just went in one ear and out the other.
But you heard of him. I mean, that's the thing. You don't watch the news, and you still heard of this guy. That's how big this guy is, and my voice is louder than his. Okay. But this is how it all works. So let me give you a little bit more, like, why is this happening now? Okay. So do you remember in 2012, there was like the end of a time cycle. There were movies that came out. It was the end of the Mayan calendar cycle.
That's
like,
correct.
Not the end of time, just end of a period of time. So prior to 2012, we would go to somebody else to help us heal. It was like codependent. It was mentally ill healing. Oh, you solve my problems. Oh, you solve my problems. You solve my problems. That's how it used to be. But after 2012, now it's the time for us to solve our own problems. Okay. So in 2013, you got the whole trans kids thing, like, exploded in America, started exploding around the earth. Like, oh, you want problems? Our souls showed problems. So now there's like tons of self-help. There's tons of people doing medicine journeys. There's tons of therapy. There's just tons of it. And people are aware of it. So now when my book comes out, people are ready for it.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but aren't you saying that people should be allowed to suffer without any help? Or am I just putting words in your mouth?
I mean, I'm just saying suffering is part of the plan. The suffering is a tool. And that's how they learn to turn their wounds into wisdom. That's how we see ourselves. It's a necessary part of understanding ourselves and, like, figuring out how our souls function. Like, if we don't understand how our souls communicate and function, I mean, that's the most basic part of ourselves, our soul, our energy body. And so if we don't understand that, we don't understand much. And how can we, create a society that is more balanced, that people have their needs met, where kids can read and write, that we aren't. So our external reality is a reflection of our internal reality. And, like,
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. There are shows on YouTube and stuff that I watch all the time about afterlife experiences. And they talk about, you can get to a state of meditation where you get all this stuff and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am a little confused at this point, because what you're saying is that I should mind my own business, maybe.
Well, I think that people who support, I'm not saying you do, but I'm just going to go there for, sake of the conversation. I hope, I appreciate your devil's advocate. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm an analyst.
I think it makes it a good show if I got.
People are advocating for, like, DEI, equal outcomes. That right there is trying to get rid of the pain. But those people don't understand that our souls are energy bodies, and the pain is on purpose so that we can see ourselves. For multiple reasons. We need the emotions, the frequencies that are lower vibrating, not as powerful, and then that catapults us up to the higher vibrating, and that's how energy moves. From lower to higher vibrating is how you make energy move.
I don't want to. I'm sorry, but I don't want to lessen anybody's pain. But when I was dysfunctional, it was Xanax to Xanax pain. It was pure, unadulterated pain. The worst pain that I ever experienced, including pulling teeth and stuff like that. It was, you didn't have yourself anymore. You were gone. You were hearing the voices of the people that are in the back of your head, the demons, I call them. Then I had nothing, and I was basically, crawled in a little ball against the wall, and I had nothing. So I think what I try to say is that we don't have to let it get to that point. We can stop it before so we're different, I guess.
We have to let it get to that. Each person is an individual. See, here's the thing. Like the amount of wisdom downloaded to my soul is not the same as your soul, other soul, and that's fine. We're all here to grow from where we started. Like wherever you start as an infant, you're here to grow from there, and you'll grow as much as your soul plans until you die, and then you come back, you do it again, 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 again. We are not here to have equal outcomes. We are not here, because it's the thing. If we all agree that our internal reality creates our external reality, and if our external reality is really painful, then that points us back to our heart that needs the work. There's nothing wrong in that scenario. It's just people are not understanding what to do or how to handle it.
What about the people that actually think they're happy? Case in point, I'm a baseball fan. Let's just look at Derek Jeter, right? He was Mr. America, all this stuff. I'm sure he had a lot of problems, but the world seems to be a little bit unfair in that area, because Derek Jeter, did he suffer like I did? I don't think he did.
How do you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. And so that's all assumption and judgment.
That's
it's like,
true. I mean,
if we all accepted that everyone's on their individual journey, and what that person needs is different from the next person, different from the next person, different from the next person. If we just accept that everyone's different and that our souls are handling it, then we could stop wasting time on judging other people and wondering, well, they're not hurting as much. They have money. I mean, here's the thing. Justin Waller has millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
But hang on a second. He's got millions of dollars. But you know what his mom does? His mom is on YouTube talking crap about him, giving out her phone number so people can call her and talk more crap about him. And he is 40 years old. What do you think his childhood was like? And all that money, one way he's being shown how he doesn't always behave properly with that money, he's never paid me. You think that's not going to come out for him? That's a mirror that I'm waiting to hold. Oh, and he knows that mirror is there. I come out and none of these multimillionaires have given me a dime, not a dime. Show them how much they're believing that women are replaceable and money isn't. Like there's a saying in Hebrew.
Yeah. I don't think anyone is replaceable.
In your coffin. And
I don't,
that's just, I'm just saying, these men have their problems, and they have that money in part because they did well, but also in part to show them their problems. Like there's a woman who, she's the one that brought like psilocybin, like the mushroom medicine journeys out, that they use a therapy now, like it's legal now in different states, right?
Which I think it all should be legal.
Squalor alone. But yet she brought that out to the world. So our souls don't plan our lives based on what's fair in terms of other people. Our souls plan our lives based on our wounds so we can see ourselves.
But
so we might think that's not fair,
it has
but
to do
she
with
needed it.
How you treat other people. Do you treat other people like, they're a divine being, or do you treat them like garbage? That's the type of stuff that most people don't really understand. Most people are like on the pyramid of life. I'm at this status, I'm at that status.
Yeah. And that determines.
And that never, ever works. If you have enough money to eat and have a decent, house or something, that's enough. You don't have to work your head crazily and make more and more money that you're not going to do anything with. You're not going to take it to your grave.
Their souls need that. That's the thing. Your soul might not need that daily work. Justin's soul does.
Okay.
And who are we to say that he doesn't? That's what he needs to see himself. And this is what people don't understand. This is like, I know I'm coming in with this radical thing, but all this wisdom is out there. I just put it together inside of one book. But when you ask, well, how do you treat others? We come back to the same truth. Our external reality reflects our internal reality. So when we don't treat other people well, it's because we don't have a healthy cup of love to pour from.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Like the guy in Starbucks who yells that his blueberry muffin wasn't heated properly, that guy came in with problems.
He's in a lot of
pain.
The
problems didn't start there, right? So this is where we all have to acknowledge, if I go to a store and I'm rude, that's because I have hate in my heart for myself and I'm taking out on other people inappropriately. And we see that all day long.
Right on. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Now,
Yeah.
We have to stop, but before we stop, I would like for you to have the last word,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to. You
The
don't have to.
word, I just say, okay, I'll share the 4 pieces of wisdom that helped me the most. The 2-ball experiment for me to accept that the hills and the valleys are all necessary. Hard, 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 but I use it every day. Okay. Um, my soul plans my life based on my wounds and the laws of physics. And the universe is a mirror. When I see selfishness in someone else, that's my soul showing me the selfishness inside of me. And then triggers are our healing friend and not our healing foe. When someone triggers your emotional pain to the surface, that's a perfect time to self-reflect and ask yourself, why am I hurt like this? What's the wisdom? What can I learn? And then
Hmm.
forgiveness naturally follows.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. I mean,
It's a
my
lot to
dilemma,
accept.
no, I don't not accept it. My dilemma is that things are grayer than maybe some people think.
Mm,
I think that's my opinion. Uh,
okay.
that things are a little bit grayer and maybe not, you're not able to really define exactly how you should get out of your problems. I mean, I guess it goes back to not really believing in anything in a sense. My son is a pastor for a
Mm,
Christian church. He
yeah.
loves Jesus and Jesus has saved him. To me, that's like, I feel, and I felt this all my life, that I came from another planet
Mm-hmm.
because I cannot understand people. I cannot understand the violence that people have and are using
Yeah.
all the time. So what I preach is let's get mentally healthy as a group.
Yeah.
But I
We can
think what
stop
you're
killing
saying
each other.
is
I mean,
you can't, you could bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink is
right.
what you're saying maybe.
But see, your desire for less violence, like my son has mild autism. He's also an Eagle Scout and has a secondary black belt in Taekwondo. And he's just like you. He is just
Hmm.
like you. And this is what we're coming towards. So when we all understand that our emotions are about ourselves, and that when I see selfishness in someone else, it's also in me, and I can't like now attack them for being selfish. That
Hmm.
cuts war down to like nothing. Because
Hmm.
then, if everybody, the more people that accept that this is the way reality is created, it stops war. But now we weren't ready to heal yet. It wasn't time yet. Our souls, the collective, our souls know everything. And so all of our souls are constantly talking, they know how to plan stuff.
Nothing has really changed from World War II. It's still the same.
What do you mean?
People, well, I think people are almost having a civil war in this country. And there's
Yeah.
other countries that are just so bad where the wars hit them. They're like crazy. There's a lot of hurt in the world, I guess. And all I'm saying is, there's plenty out there. There's a lot more than you think. And governments try to pin you off and make you think that there's not enough for you. But there is. And I like to share that to other people that if you're, a good person and if everybody else is a good person, everybody else does follow certain ethical laws, that this would be a much, much better world. And,
But
and I guess
here's the
that's my
thing.
mission.
The reason we're not behaving is because of our wounds. We have to
Right.
address the wounds. So, like
Right.
Andrew Tate and My Soul have a plan to address sexual assault.
Okay.
He triggers the wound, which we all know he does. My book tells people how to heal the wound because he's one of the men. So I used to have a
Yeah,
fear
I
of men
understand.
and a fear of being sexually assaulted, and he's one of the men I attracted into my life. So my book teaches women how to do it. So that's what
Okay.
I'm here to do, is to
Yeah,
teach people
I'm
this
so
wisdom.
glad that you took some time off to talk to me. I really, really appreciate it.
I'd love to talk to you
I,
after you read the book, if you'd like.
all right. I'll read
Yeah.
the book and I'll look you up again. How's that
Okay.
sound?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
And bring the devil's
I've done that
advocate. Like that
before.
helps me grow. Like, oh, I didn't see that, or I didn't see that, or I didn't see that.
Right, right, right. It helps everyone grow, I think. And I've always been that way. I've always been the devil advocate. People always think, well, you believe this and you believe that. No, I don't. I just counter your answer. I say, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And I make people own up to it because I don't think you want a yes person, do you? I mean, really?
No, I mean,
no.
that's why we're all here. Like, you asking me questions is you exploring yourself too. Like, you exploring me is also you exploring you. Like, oh, how did she see that? And then what about me? Like, I know you're using your explanation of me so that you can explore you, and that's totally healthy. I love it.
Right, right. And hopefully, I still think that the suffering I did had no purpose, but you may be right in the long run. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows.
Yeah, no, I don't know either.
Yeah,
I'm just
nobody
saying,
knows.
based on what I've experienced, what I've been shown, this is where I'm at. And
Right.
that's just me. Like,
right.
And we're all like that. That's how we are as souls. Like, men were trying to run the mile in under 4 minutes for a long time, for years. And then one guy figured it out. So he downloaded that wisdom from the universe into his soul. And because his soul communicates through his heart to all other souls, within the next year, 500 men did it. Because he figured it out and shared the knowledge with the other souls subconsciously through the heart communications that all of our souls do. It's called morphic resonance. Like, there's a whole physics book on it.
Right. I get it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. This is an amazing story, and you probably have a very amazing book. People might run out and get it right now, but I will definitely probably get the Kindle book since I don't have money that much. But
I can send you the manuscript if you like. Whatever's best for you.
Yeah, no, I can afford $2. But I'm just out here trying to find the 12-year-old boy from 1970 who was trampled on and had no help. Zero help. 1970 was zero help.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to do my due diligence, that you could say, that this doesn't happen anymore. What I went through, I don't think should happen. But again, you kind of disagree with that, but
because we have to, in order to see and experience ourselves and grow and get to the next mountaintop, we have to be able to go into the valley of darkness, and that's why we need those lower vibrating emotions. And all I do is stay home and meditate and talk to souls. Like, if there were a different way, I would have found it. Like, I am full nerd. Like, I have very much an engineering left brain. I translated 12th century Taoist texts from classical Chinese into English for my master's degree. When I say full nerd, like, I loved it that I needed 3 dictionaries to find one character because I'm a nerd. So, but that serves me that I don't quit. Like, I'm like, this is the way, I had to accept it because there's everything's saying the same thing. Like, when I saw the Winston Churchill quote, and he said, "It is said that famous men are often the product of an unhappy childhood." I'm like, there's the 2-ball experiment. Oh my gosh. Even Winston Churchill sees this truth.
Well, comedians is a good example too.
People who want to go really high in life start with a huge valley of darkness because that's what's going to propel them to that mountaintop. So they start from lack. And then they're like, I got to go. I got to, then they got purpose.
But I really thank you for coming on. My throat's probably starting to kick out. And I appreciate, just taking the time out. And I wish you luck with your book. And I wish you luck with your movie.
Well,
and if you need a very tall, big guy, just give me a call.
Well, I got a lot of tall men around me, like the fire captain, he's 6'7",
I'm 6'7".
Andrew's 6'4". You want to come hang out, you can come too.
Where are you now?
I'm in Southern California. Where are you? Oh, you're in Southern California.
That's right. Well, I keep forgetting that.
You never know. Like, if
I'm way far. In New York area.
Oh, okay. So, but you never know. You never know.
Never know. You never know. It was really nice talking to you.
I can't wait for 2.0. Oh, you read the book. Now what?
And I did that before. I did that with the bipolar fellow. I can't recall his name. Steve, I think. And he talks about his really bad bipolar episode. Manic is bipolar 1.
Yeah.
And so he told me read the book. So I did, and then we went again. But that was early. That was my first year. But yeah, it's great. And we'll keep in touch, and we'll see what happens. I wish you luck with the movie and what you're doing, because
Okay.
I know you believe everything you're saying.
I have to.
So that's
It's like,
good.
if
That's
I
good.
don't believe it, why should anybody else?
Right,
If I'm
exactly.
spewing crap, oh, that's just crap, but I'm going to sell it. Like, where does that send me? Like,
No,
nowhere.
it's nothing. But
Yeah.
this is gonna be a great show. I thank you again, and
Thank you.
take care. Take
You
care of
too.
yourself.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.